Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I said good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir.
Can you guys there at the back hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I love it that I don't think I've ever seen the junior tux presenters be that shy as this year. I don't know, I think that they've changed the entry requirements to they've got to have introverts. There was one or two I saw that were proper extrovert. I'm one of those. If you don't know me, how many of you have actually gotten to know me a little bit? A few of you, a few familiar faces greeted me earlier. Hello, hello, hello. For those of you that have not heard me or haven't been in one of my sessions, you've missed out on something in life. There's some kind of hole in your education, a gap. But you are going to get to know me quite well today and tomorrow. My name is Sarel van Greenen. But please, those of you that's already starting to get aneurysms, just all the G's, the R's, the E's, and the U's, don't worry. They call me Mr. VG. Okay? And I'm a mathematician by choice. Okay? That's a very important distinction. Okay, I'm a maths teacher by choice. It's not because I couldn't do anything else. Okay? And I'm here in the next 2 days, and I want to emphasize again, I'm here by? Okay, so are you. I'm not forcing you to be here. I'm not forcing you to listen to me. So these sessions are going to be long. 2 hours. 2 hours session today, 2 hours session tomorrow. But one of the most important things that I could ever tell you in life is you think you've got it all laid out. I can promise you, you don't. When I was your age, sir, my school came to me and said, here is a bursary to go and study education. And you know what I did? I laughed in their faces. Honestly. I said I'd never become a teacher in my life. Look where I am. It didn't last long. Okay? I studied to become an actuary. I studied BSc Actuarial Sciences. Finished it, and then chose to become a math teacher. Doesn't seem like a financially wise decision, but I said in my life, I'm going to work for love and I'm going to get married for money. Unfortunately, my wife didn't get the same message, so I married for love. Now I'm working for money. Not a lot, I'm a teacher, so. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to feel welcome. And I'm going to say the following. Please, please, please get this. I am not here today to prescribe to you how you have to do life, how you have to do maths. I'm not. I'm number one, not that arrogant. And number two, I believe that, and I'm going to talk about someone, I'm not really prepared for this slide today, but that's all right. Life happens when you're making other plans. I'm going to be I wanted to update this before I was presenting it to you guys tomorrow, but I'm going to update it on the fly. I'm going to be talking about someone called George Polya. I know it's weird, okay. If you are European, it might not be that weird, but I want to talk about George Polya to you guys for a moment. Okay, so excuse me while I just get my stuff going here again. Here we go. Come on, baby. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So, I'm going to be talking a little bit about a guy called George Polya. Now, is there any of you that really loves mathematics a lot? You don't have to be shy. Okay? One here, a few in the back. Go and Google this guy, George Polya. Now, I'm going to write his name here for you guys. George Polya. Okay? Now, George Polya, he wrote a book in the 1940s. So that was probably before most of you were even a twinkle in your parents' eyes, and some of your parents were not even twinkles in their parents' eyes. Now, George Polya is the father of problem solving in the mathematics world. And he wrote a book in, I think it was 1946 or 48. A whole book just about mathematical problem solving. But I've come to realize that actually most of this is not just about mathematical problem solving, it is about problem solving. Life problem solving. So, I'm going to focus on two things. And the first thing that I want to quickly say, first little thing. If you are an 80 or a 90 percenter, I want to challenge you today. I want to challenge you. For every single sum you do, I want you to find as many approaches, as many different ways of solving the problem as you can possibly do. George Polya said in his book, it's better to solve one problem in 5 different ways than solving 100 problems in one way. Who can tell me why is that? Come on, grade 12s. In 1 year from now, you guys are busy studying, and a teacher, or not a teacher, you guys are not going to have teachers, you're going to have professors, are going to look at you and go, you've got to agree or disagree with me. How many of your teachers are like that currently? Be honest. No one. If you disagree with your teacher, then you disrespect them, right? Yeah. You've got to unlearn that very quickly. Because at varsity, if you don't disagree, the professor will look at you and go, you're not ready to get a degree. Okay? Because if you don't disagree with someone, it means you're not thinking. So I want to know, who can tell me why you need to solve? Why is it better to solve one problem in 5 ways than solving 100 problems in one way? Yes, sir. Yeah, please. The guy's the back down here.
Well, surely if you solve 100 problems in one way, and you only know one way of doing everything, and if you already know how to solve one problem in one way, then by doing other problems, you're not learning anything new. But if you do 5 different ways, you've got different approaches, and you learn something new.
Oh, thank you, Walter. Okay. Well done. Well done. That's a perfect answer I was looking for. As one of my colleagues said, because I'm a mathematics head of department at Lebone College of the Royal Bafokeng, he said to me the other day, he said, the thing is, exactly what you said, if I can solve one problem in 5 different ways, the first 1 or 2 or maybe 3 ways are obvious. Obvious. But when you start having to think about solving a problem in 4 or 5 different ways, now you've got to start thinking out of the box. Imagine a simple question like x squared minus 3x equal to 4. 3 ways are obvious. Factorize, quadratic formula, Third one for some of you already is a problem. Completing the square. Yeah. What about 4? Fifth way. Eish. That's a problem. That's a big problem. So ladies and gentlemen, you need to start doing that. Because the reality of the world out there is you are going to be faced with so many problems where there's no textbook that's going to tell you how to solve it. Good luck when you're a parent. Good luck. You know, one of my mates there, he's doing the video recordings. Chris, you know, he's got 3 wonderful, amazing, always, you know, best behaved kids, right? Always. And I've only got 1 kid, so I sometimes feel myself blessed, but yes. Are your 3 kids, did you have to raise them the same way every time?
No, that'd be a fail.
Exactly. It'd be a fail. Because what you try with the 1 kid, you try with the 2nd kid and it doesn't work, right? Try it with the 3rd kid and it's like hell on earth. Yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to start thinking for yourself. I promise you, it hurts initially, but you're going to have to. If you want to change the world and you don't want to be just another normal, regular person, you are going to have to start thinking for yourself. That's why you've got to start thinking about different kind of approaches. The second thing that I feel like I just have to share at the moment is you're going to have to learn to start thinking bigger picture. How focused have you been on your final exams? Be honest with me. Just focused, right? You not. And you? What have you guys been focusing on?
Resting.
Say again? Resting. But before your tiredness now? Prelims. So it's all about the tests, right? And it's all about what's coming right after this, right? Ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly share a picture with you guys. It's not on here, but I'm going to share it in any case. As I said, I'm winging it today. If this is your life from birth up to death, 0, 72. Why 72? Common age of death. I like that. Actually, common age of death in South Africa is about 48. That's average lifespan. Okay, 48, 49, 50. But the Bible says if you live to the age of 72, that is a blessed life. So let's say you're going to live till the age of 72. Where are you currently? Currently, you are, roughly speaking, about there. Please let that sink in. Currently, you are about 25% through your life. What percentage is still left, those of you that are here for maths? What is the most important part to be focused on? Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to start thinking right. This exam, yeah, it is very important. It's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Every time you apply for a job, you're going to have to put your senior certificate. You have to tell her what subjects you did, even though I'm turning 40 in less than a month's time. 2 weeks. Yeah, getting old. It sucks at times. Okay, but even now, I still have to put on my CV where I did my matric, what results did I get for which subjects. So it's going to stay with me for the rest of my life. But it is what you are going to do. It is what you are going to do for the rest of that 75% that you are going to be known for. So many of my friends, top 10s, failed at varsity, or got their degrees and did absolutely bugger all with their life. They're not going to be known for anything. I decided, that's nonsense. I want to make the most of this 75% because that is what I'm going to be known for. And I've been blessed enough to get amazing opportunities and do something, but it didn't come without a lot of effort and wisdom on my side. So, I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to start thinking realistically. That 75% is where you need to start focusing on. You need to start thinking, what kind of a person do I want to be? What kind of a change do I want to make in this world? And if you've got no idea, you need to start thinking about those things. But now the question comes, why am I here today? I am here, ladies and gentlemen, for something else as well. I'm here to help you with exam prep. Okay? It is the preparation conference in any case. So I need to, first of all, help you with your exam prep. So I want to give you in your hand today the 4 phases of problem solving. And this is not a maths thing, I just want to say, this is a life thing. But according to George Polya, there are 4 phases to any problem solving. It's unfortunately not in this booklet, but it's similar, and I will get back to the booklet when we get to it. Number 1, and this is very much my own paraphrasing of George Polya's 4 phases of problem solving. He doesn't use the word digging, I use it. Step 1 is to dig. Get as much information as you can from the information provided to you. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of you guys struggle, especially if your first language is not English. I teach in a school where 95% of our learners are Setswanas, or Setswana speaking Setswanas, sorry for making it 2 up. So 95% of the students in my class are not English first language speakers. So, and that's, I think, close to where it is in this hall as well. Honestly, whom of you are first language or home language English speakers? Look around you. This is scary. It's like maybe 10 in this group. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, that's the reality of your life. I'm not home language English speaker as well. I'm home language Afrikaans. I'm a real boertjie if my name didn't give it away. Okay? But the reality of life is, ladies and gentlemen, everywhere you're going to go is going to be English, English, English everywhere. So you can either use it as an excuse, or you can overcome it and become an inspiration for other people. How do you overcome it? Well, studying, unfortunately. But let me quickly give you a nice little tip. Go and Google Oxford 3000 or Oxford 5000 if you want to be like super fancy. The Oxford 3000 is actually, do I want to flex or not? Maybe flex, okay. Since I'm an examiner for the IEB, for the Independent Examination Board, where I set up the further study mathematics paper for May and June. Let me just flex that one a little bit, okay? When we went for them training us how to set up final matric exams, they told us, when you set up an exam, as an examiner, you must choose words that come out of this list. The Oxford 3000. That is 3,000 words that any matriculant must know to be able to write their matric final exam. For if you do English home language, you've got to look at the Oxford 5000. Okay? That's the only subject where you can choose words from the Oxford 5000. The only exception to the rule, of course, is your words that are native to specific subjects, like specifically maths. And then all the maths terminologies are not going to be in there. And that's all right, because it's native to maths. But for me, if I look at my exam, a simple word is something like acquire. What does acquire mean? To get something. If you didn't know that, you're in trouble, because that's part of the Oxford 3000. And if in an exam they tell you, you acquired a vehicle, then you have to understand that the person bought it. They didn't sell it. Or I don't know what else you might think. Or if you acquire, you might have been singing to it, I don't know. Okay? Sorry, that's real dad jokes, that one. So if you want to upskill yourself, you still have time. But please, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you're not just studying for NALS exams, you're studying for your university exams as well. And there the professors care even less. Sorry to burst your bubble. Your first 2 to 3 years of varsity, the professors are not going to give a damn about you. Sorry. You're going to sit in a class between 200 and 400 kids. They don't care. Only when you hit 3rd year and 4th year, maybe in some cases 5th year, will the professors actually get to know your names? And when will they actually start caring about you, because they know in this hall like this with 130 kids. Let it sink in for a moment. I'm talking statistically, less than 50 of you are going to graduate. Because less than 40% of all first years actually finish their degrees. So the professors are not going to start caring about you before 3rd year, because then they know you're serious. And you're going to sit in a hall. How many are going to study BCom? 400 in your class. Every class. And you're going to be one of 3 classes. So one professor would teach 1,200 students in first year. That's a different scale. So you have to learn to upskill yourself. Now, we are going to be talking about digging when we go back to the slides. But let's look at number 2. Number 2 is arguably the most difficult one. Make connections. I know that's why some of you are here. Some of you have already started getting phone numbers. Some of you have already asked 1 or 2 people out on a coffee date after this. Are you from Pretoria? Yes, okay. There's a nice coffee shop just around the corner. That's not the kind of connections I'm talking about. Making connections is the ability to look from what I've got to what I need. What have I gotten from my digging? What information do I have? And where am I going to go? And then the most difficult parts of it all, and this is where Walter and that was very cleverly is going to, how am I going to get there? That's the most difficult part. Because I'm telling you guys now, from the get-go, okay, let me not tell, let me ask. How many of you, honestly, please raise your hand, when you see a maths problem, you do not start writing an answer until you've planned out the whole sum? Wow, that's more than I expected. Some of you are like, ain't got no time for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to say this. That's the reason why some of you might not be getting distinctions. It's a bit of a burn, but that's all right. You'll be all right. Ladies and gentlemen, please do understand, 60% of first year varsity students do not make it past calculus. 60. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, their toolboxes are empty. Because maths is not a study subject. Biggest nonsense in the world. Number 2, the toolbox is unorganized. We don't plan. We just run in. And hope and pray we get to the right answer. Look at that smile. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to start making connections. You need to start looking. I like to call it the monkey behind the mountain, and we are going to look at that when we get to about slide 2 or 3. Okay, just want to quickly, yeah. Okay. Then, number 3, which is your favorite. Try it. I know most of you, when you look at your exam, you're just like, I'm going to run at this thing and I'm going to hope and pray to get to the right answer. Because there's no time to plan a math sum. I've just got to do it. Yeah? Not necessarily a bad thing. I have to write this down. I call this method the gung-ho method. Okay? Call it the gung-ho method. Have you ever heard about that terminology? Nah. It was coined in the First World War. How many of you remember that war? You remember that? Were you there? But in the First World War, they said that was the war to end all wars, apparently, but the Second World War came in. In the First World War, they coined the term gung-ho for kids. I'm saying kids because you are still kids, not joking. But for soldiers your age, 18, 19 years old, who literally went out of their minds because of all the trauma of killing someone else. So they literally went out of mind. They would run into battle and not care who the hell is in front of them. They would just shoot. Just go grrr, and shoot anything, like some of you play Call of Duty. Okay? Because they literally lost their mind. Now, this is the way that I have seen, and I've been a teacher now for close to 20 years. I still see it every single day in my class. How do I determine a y value? Make it 0! No. I'm not saying a y-intercept. A y-value. You've got to substitute the x-value into your graph, whatever the x-value is. I had a student, Mr. Almeida knows her well. About 6-7 years ago, she was in our maths class, she was in our school, because we taught together. It's 8 years, eh? Yeah, we're getting old. But she did her matric about 9 years ago. She could never get above 72% for maths, never. She would take a sum, 5 marks, write a full page, scratch it out, try it over again, scratch it out, try it over again, and still only got 3 out of 5. Why? She just ran into the sum. She didn't care where she's going, but she just wrote down what came up in her mind. Is the gungho method bad? No. Do you guys, when I work out an exam paper, do you think I sit, how long do you think it takes me to write out a matric final exam paper, to practice it? Okay, I take about an hour and 15 minutes to do a whole 3-hour paper for you guys. Do you think I sit and think at most of the sums? No. Why not? Because I've done it so many times. I don't have to go and sit and dig too much and make connections too much. Only when it comes to, how many of you are in independent schools? Those section B questions, that last 3 questions. There I've got to sit and think, okay. Let's think about, ladies and gentlemen, paramedics. When a paramedic, say you were in a car accident, I'm just picking on you, and you're lying there and you're dying, and the paramedic comes to you and he stops and he looks at the fellow paramedic and goes, what do you think is the best way we must handle this? Do you think we must do this or this or this? And the other guy goes, nah, I don't think we must do that. I think, what about we try this new method? Are you going to be happy with that paramedic? No. They have to get in, stabilize, pull her out, save her life, go on with life. They don't think too much. But what makes them good at what they do? They've got qualifications. They've done it 1,000,000 times. Therefore, they can use the gung-ho method. Gentlemen, let's quickly talk. Ladies, now you're going to be amazed at my knowledge of females. Gentlemen, now you listen. Gung-ho method is the worst method in the world if you ever want to try and solve a woman's problems. You have to learn to dig. Because the way that women solve problems are by digging. And a lot of times in each other's backyards. How are you doing? Oh, the day has been so bad. Everything is so bad. And this person said this, and that person said this, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And in the end, all the problems are just like, oh, they're gone. Gents, really, I'm not joking, that's how it works. Am I right? Yeah. Really, my wife does it quite often. She comes to me and says, this happened, and my sister did this, and my mother did this, and then this happened, and then we got this school and this school. As a man, I'm focusing here. I'm going, okay, so what must I say to your sister? Must I go and beat up your mother? Must I go and, and then she's talking and she's talking and she's talking. In my mind, I'm playing squash. I'm feeling like 10, like, what problem? Okay, next problem. And then she looks at me and goes, oh, thank you, my love. I love you so much. And then she leaves. And then I said, I've got now all the problems. And I haven't solved anything. I was wondering who the hell I was going in the club, And she's like, oh, everything is gone. Yeah, men, that's how women solve problems. They talk about it. Now, how do we as men solve problems? Huh? We try something. No, actually, we do something. Okay, ladies, now your time to listen up. A guy does not want to talk about his problems. Do not nag him. Otherwise, you're going to be the problem. Us guys, we want to get on the soccer field. We want to get in front of the PC and kill someone. You go and you just, I don't know why people love the MMA, but I mean really those guys club each other, We just love to watch it, And when you've done it and you've played when you're on the basketball court, what sport do you like, sir? Soccer. If you come off the soccer field and you've just ran your heart out after a bad day, how much better do you feel? 1,000%. Ladies, give your man space. When he's done after the soccer field, he'll come back and be a better man. But if you're going to be like, how are you, my lovey? And he looks at you and goes, fine. I can see you're not fine. I'm fine. Like, talk to me. He's like, whoa, I'm fine. Leave it. If you ask one more time, you are going to become the problem. One, just leave it. I don't want to talk about this. There's nothing wrong with it. Ah, then gentlemen, another life hack. Whatever you give a woman, she's going to give you 1,000% back. Just be careful. You give her love, she's going to give you that back. You yell at her, she's going to give you that back. 100%, 1,000%, I promise you. That's why ladies can have feuds for decades. Because neither of them want to just step away, they want to give each other back 10 times back. I'm seeing you, ladies. We as men, we just clap each other, we get it over with, and we just hang out again. Ladies, be clever, don't become the problem. My wife literally looks at me and goes, you need to get to your friends. Because I know when you get back, you're going to be a better person. Then I realize how crappy I think. I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's true. Then I hang out with my buds and then life's good again. But ladies and gentlemen, then we get to the fourth thing that none of you, or very few of you, ever do. Reflect. As a teacher, I I'm very different, and I love it. I love being different. The best answers I've ever gotten in my class was when I ask students, does this make sense? And they look at me as if I'm speaking some kind of Northern European language, like Russian, as if we're going to know, because what the hell do you mean, sir? I'm like, this answer you got, does it actually make sense? Yeah, but sir, you use the formula. I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm not asking is there a mistake. I'm asking, does it make sense? And then they still look at me, and I'm like, okay. Your answer was 23.5. But we were talking about the number of kids on the bus. Who is so short that they can only be 0.5? And then they just look at me and go, oh, that's what you mean, sir. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest sins of our generation, your generation, not mine, I'm too old to be part of this generation, is social media made you guys believe that your voice must be heard. Everyone has an opinion, and that's fine. But sometimes I can keep an opinion to myself as well. Just because the two of us have beef doesn't mean the rest of the world must know about it. Yes, you may talk about it, but you've got to understand whatever you say has consequences. Ask the lady who got on a flight in the USA, and she tweeted about something about the blacks in South Africa, about some racist tweet. And when she put on her phone, when she landed in South Africa, there was a message from her boss saying, don't even bother to come back to work. Bye. That really happened. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a voice, but you also have a choice. And the choice is going to have consequences. You have to think, reflect, what's going to happen if I say this? What's going to happen if I do this? Before you do it. Unfortunately, your brain is not fully developed yet. Did you guys know that? The newest research, life science students, come on. What's the newest, the latest, who said there in the back, I think you're going to study MBCHB? Who said it earlier? Come on, who said it? You dream, I wish. 30 to 35. It used to be 25, then they readjusted it to 28. The latest research shows your brain is only fully developed by 30 to 35. There's as you're pointing to it, what do we call it? The prefrontal cortex, which is a part of your brain which deals with things like long-term goals, consequences, cognitive functions, controlling your emotions. And that's why I love teaching at Boyzone. Guy jumps off of a roof, breaks his leg, and you look at him and you go, really? You were about to play for the first team tomorrow. Didn't you think? And he's like, no, sir, you did me. And you're like, really, did you not? No, sir. It all sounds negative, but it really isn't. It means sometimes your brain is not developed enough to think about what all the bad things that can happen. That's why you guys must change the world, because you don't care enough about what everyone is going to say against you. When you become our age, in the 30s and 40s, you start thinking, I mustn't do this because what if this, that, and this, and this, and this, and this. By the time you stop thinking, you are sitting with what we call analysis paralysis. It's actually a terminology, I didn't make it up. Where you analyze a situation so much that you cannot proceed to do anything. You guys don't suffer from that, and that's all right. Go and change the world because you don't care. Think about someone like Greta Thunberg, 15, 16-year-old girl, taking on the world nations, okay? Telling them, you guys are crap, okay? Stop what you are doing. 30, 40-year-old be like, yes, I don't ever want to have a job tomorrow. She doesn't care. She's all over the world, changing the world. Maybe when she's in the 30s, she won't have done it.